back to the channel, guys. Thanks for joining me today. And in our latest video of the Ultimate Boss 302 build-up, we're going to be doing one of the last bits on my car, the last parts on my car that are still stock. Pretty much if you've been following the channel, you've seen everything we've been doing slowly over the winter and last summer. And I'm trying to video and document everything for you guys today now. But we have the front lower control arms here on my workbench. And these are some of the last bits and pieces that were still OEM on my car. And this video is going to be tailored more towards the HPDE guys, the kind of more serious track guys who are taking their cars road racing. I've got a couple parts here on the table that I want to show you that are going to be a more budget-friendly way to upgrade your front lower control arms while still getting better performance, making sure that you're correcting some front end geometry. So this is going to be a really good video for you guys. I didn't really do a breakdown of the teardown process. There's a few videos out there that I could link and show you. They do get the job done. They do kind of show you. It's a messy job, absolutely. I'll tell you guys that to start off with. You're gonna destroy your floor like I did in my own garage here. A lot of rubber, a lot of burning, a lot of melting just to get these bushings, for example, off of the car. They are just trashed. These are the original ones that came off my car. Fortunately enough for myself, one of my good friends has already done this upgrade and he's actually moved on to the Ford Performance version of the front control arm bushings. So he lent me his, and this is the new bushing that gets installed. So this is an energy suspension polyurethane bushing that goes into the factory kind of bushing mount. Now the OEM one, like I have here in my hand, these are rubber, plastic, and hydraulically filled. So when you're trying to get them to go from looking like this to being a smooth opening that you can insert this bushing in, you trash it. You end up just kind of breaking it apart, heating it up. Now, there's a couple of videos online of guys saying that they heated up the outside of this and got the rubber to separate and rotate it. We didn't have such luck. We tried and we burned these things, flames, smoke everywhere. It stunk up my garage. And we eventually kind of decided, you know what, let's see if we can just kind of drill it out and break it apart that way, and that's what we did. So it took a while to do, so be prepared for that. But once it's done and it's off, what you're going to be left with is essentially this. Now, this was covered in extra rubber and everything else because it's fused to that. But once you're done and you've kind of cleaned it up, you're going to end up having that shaft is what's going to be left. Now that's actually just very simply what's going to be going on there. And that's how you upgrade that end. On this side, you've got another bushing inside. You end up using a hole saw, and in the details below, I'll put the exact size. I don't have it right in front of me, so I don't want to just kind of speak off term, but you're gonna use a hole saw and you're gonna drill through, and you're end up gonna have this guy coming out, which I end up cleaning up with a wire wheel to get it looking the way you see it now. And then another smaller diameter wire wheel inside to kind of clean these guys up, get them looking the way you see there. Once that's done, this is the other energy suspension bushing that comes in the kit, and that's going inside there, and that's how you're upgrading those too. So for the price point, you can find these for about $80 US for the bushing kit. And when you compare it to the Ford Racing kit, which is a great kit, but it's about $450 US to do the upgrade. Now, you have to end up cutting this metal shaft off. There's a smaller one, inside diameter in there. So when you're looking at this, and if you're thinking about pressing these out, do not try to press the inside in there. This is supposed to come as one piece. If you decide to upgrade to the Ford Racing bushings instead, you're gonna have to actually take a wire cutter, or not a wire cutter, but an actual cutting wheel, and cut this off. And it's under a lot of tension, so when it does cut, it snaps. My friend upgraded to it, so we kind of went over that with him on his car. And once you cut this off, there's a smaller shaft, only about that long. That's what the Ford Racing bushing sits on, whereas these energy suspension ones ride on the factory location. So it's a nice upgrade without having to go crazy with the $450 bushings. Now, the other piece I want to talk to you guys about and what I'm doing on my car, and like I said before, this is more geared towards your HPDE guy, your hardcore track guy. When we're lowering our cars as much as we are with coilovers and everything else, you're going to end up throwing off the front end geometry, which is to be expected. We know that with a lot of other parts on our cars. You end up getting adjustable sway bar end links, things like that. But some guys do extended ball joints. Now what I've actually done here is I've got a threaded collar for a howell joint. Now, the advantage to a howell joint compared to a lot of the other ones out there, it's much stronger. It's more geared towards motorsport, and that's the actual howell joint. And it's a low friction howell joint, so it does not take very much for it to move. So your turn-in response is gonna be a lot better. You're getting less resistance as you try to turn the wheel. It's gonna wanna go in the direction you want it to go. The other thing that's nice about them, what you're doing to correct the geometry, is they are extended. The location here for the groove, for the detent, for the bolt to go through, to hold it into the knuckle, it's about a ½ inch higher. So you're correcting that control arm geometry on the car and getting it so that you've got better leverage when you're turning. And that's what they always say. A lot of guys say, well, okay, I'm upgrading, I'm trying to fix the front end geometry, but what does that really mean? What are you fixing? The problem is when the control arms aren't in the right position and you go to turn the car in, they don't have the right leverage to do their job and to actually rotate the car through and actually give you the steering input you want. So by changing out these ball joints, you're actually correcting that. Now, there's aftermarket ones from Steeda and a few other companies out there that make some, you know, relatively okay ball joints, but there have been a lot of guys that have experienced those breaking while out there on the track. And the problem is those have to get pressed in. So you've got to take it to a shop, get them to press out the old one, press in the new one, and hopefully it works. And really you should be changing them every year or two. So the problem that I saw with that is, well, that's a real pain in the ass. I gotta take these control arms off, I gotta take them to a shop, I gotta get them pressed back in, put them all back on. The advantage to doing one of these guys is with this threaded collar, I simply just thread my new ball joint in, finish this off here, and that's it, it's in. I mean, obviously you gotta torque it, and there's a specialty socket, which I actually found on Amazon, which I'll put in the link as well for you guys. It's a unique socket design to actually get onto this. Tighten it down, it's about 100 foot-pounds. But you could theoretically do this with it still on the car. You've got your control arm in, this would be like passenger side, for example. You simply undo your knuckle, drop it down, undo from the bottom, put the new one in, thread it, torque it, up you go, and you're ready to rock. I mean, a lot of guys can do this on the track side, and that was the whole intention of how they're designed. Now these are from Watson Racing. As you guys know, I got a lot of stuff from Watson Racing. I've got my roll cage from them, and I'm slowly, bit by bit, getting a few more pieces from those guys. And they're really helpful. I mean, they help set up the Ford race team cars. So the actual Boss 302S, these are Boss 302S style parts. So you're getting a lot of stuff from them. They're a very trusted vendor. They work closely with Ford. So everything I got here from them comes in relatively a lot less expensive than you would think. So this is the boot, just a simple dust boot goes on there. But to break it down, I mean, we've got the bushings at $80 US. We've got the threaded collars about $44 US, and then the ball joints are $74, $77, and then the little boots are about $5. So a lot less expensive than the alternative. Now, some of you might have already seen these out there. There's the Ford Racing lower control arms, and what you're getting for that $650 is you're saving all the labor of not having to press out this bushing and this bushing on the back. This longer extended shaft's already taken off, so you don't have to worry about that. And the howell ball joints are already included in that kit. They're already installed, ready to go. So for $650, it's a lot of money. And to me, if a little bit of time and effort from my part, I'm able to basically build them out the exact same way. They claim that they're a little bit longer, but I don't know the exact methodology or why they do that. But they claim the control arms are a little bit longer. So that could be true, and that would be one thing to consider compared to doing it this way. But it really just depends on what other upgrades you're doing to the car. So I want to kind of give you guys a general idea of what we're going to be doing. I'm going to get these all cleaned up. We're going to get them on the car. I'll hopefully show that in the next coming videos, show them on the car. I got to get the car ready for an alignment. We dropped the K-member and installed that new Moroso oil pan, so I'll go over that in the next couple of videos as well. But I want to let you guys know about this option because I think it's a great option for some guys to upgrade the front end on their car. You're going to get a lot better feeling, turn-in response is going to be a lot better. And one of the big upgrades that I'm looking forward to testing out with this is on a couple of the straightaways on some of the tracks that I go to, one track in particular, I'm hitting about, and I'm trying to put this in miles per hour, I think I'm hitting about 135 miles an hour, coming into the straight, and I need to get the car down to about 65, 70 miles an hour and in a short distance. So when I hit the brakes hard, the front end of the car just starts to dance around. And I think it has a lot to do with this particular bushing and the one that's in the front side. There's a lot of play in here because these are designed to kind of smooth out the ride, get rid of a lot of the noise and vibration that comes with a stock car, and that's what they're designing it to do. And it does a great job for that. You get less noise, but the problem is under extremely heavy braking, especially with the brakes that I've upgraded on the car, I think I'm getting a lot of walking with this, and that's what's translating into the steering and the car kind of pitching back and forth. So by upgrading these to this guy, from what one of my friends who has this upgrade, the one who had these ones originally, these are new bushings, we just removed them and put the new ones in. But he noticed a lot better tracking when he was going straight. So when he hits the brakes hard, the car kind of just stays planted, goes straight, it doesn't walk all over the place. And that's sometimes exciting, but you know, I've had a couple passengers in the car with me and they're freaking out when we're doing that. So I think this is gonna be a great upgrade. I hope that some of you guys learned something from this one as well. It's pretty straightforward. It's gonna have some grease. Once you've cleaned it all out, grease everything, insert the new bushings, and you should be ready to rock. I'll throw in some footage of that right here. And that's it, guys. All right, thanks for watching this one. I hope you guys learned something today like I did, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, bye.